YouTube, welcome to our first Are We Nearly There Yet video. We're in our first week of having moved to an RV from living in a house like sensible people do for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we're just doing a quick catch up. We're not going to go into detail about too many things, but this is going to be a sweeping view over our last 6 days of stuff.
We're starting at leaving the house.
Okay. So we're not going to talk about all the work we did on the RV or any of
No,
that stuff.
that another day we'll go through all of the renovation process and
Alright.
what we did. But right now, we're covering the journey from Greenville, South Carolina to Hayesville, North Carolina, which geographically is only a 2.5 hour long drive.
Yeah. But I think also we should say, like, so we moved from the house, we moved into the RV. We have 1 dog and 2 cats, which are around. I'm sure they'll come out at some point. But and we decided to move full time into an RV. Have you ever stayed in an RV?
Nope.
Ever? So neither of us had ever stayed in an RV before, but we decided to make that our lives for now. So okay, and so we're on day 6, so we're still alive. So I mean, you know. All right, so what are we gonna start on?
So starting from the drive from Greenville to Hayesville.
All right.
Pulling out of the driveway after we slam packed the RV with all of our stuff.
Yeah.
Originally, we were going to be pulling a trailer with my car behind the RV, and we ended up not doing that, and I drove separately. But are we nearly there yet? Bye, guys.
Izzy looks up.
It's not done. Stuart had to drive with all 3 animals and the RV for the first time ever.
And also, we'd been staying in the RV for, did we make it 3 nights before we drove?
Mm-hmm.
So we'd been kind of bringing the animals in, trying to get them used to it, and letting them sort of acclimate to the surroundings before we sort of threw them in and drove off. And so Izzy, the dog, had been in here and is just adaptable. So she was just fine. Even from the first time she came in, she loved it. So, and then the cats had been in here, kind of sort of gradually sort of weaning them onto RV living for a few days. So they got used to it. But none of them knew that it moved. And so the first time that they were in here because I'd driven it once back when we bought it, and then we drove it out to service it, and then we drove it back. So I'd driven it a few times, but the animals had never been in it when it moved. And as soon as the engine started, it was this crazy apocalyptic, only with the cats. The dog is fine, but the cats were fully running around the walls, treating it like some sort of wheel of death thing. They were I hadn't moved yet. This is just it running, and they were going nuts, and they were making more noise than the engine was. That they were going crazy. And then we'd fitted 3 reversing cameras to get a really good view, so I could get. And the drive was quite a complicated drive to back out of. And as soon as the engine started, the remote for the TV that has all the cameras on, that went crazy as well. And it started dragging things around because it's a touchscreen, but something went wrong, and it was just dragging all the cameras around. So I lost all cameras, and then so I still managed to back out onto the road, even with all the stuff going out. And then my sat nav died, so I didn't have navigation either. So at that point I was like, okay, we need to
I got a frantic phone call saying I can't do this.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to I can't do this. You're gonna have to take the cats.
Oh,
I can't take the cats. Not gonna happen.
At one point, one of the cats started hiding underneath the pedals, which was a great service to my already dodgy driving. Yeah. Anyway, so that wasn't a great start. Oh, we actually got out on the road, didn't we? Because it was, I think it was the second turn. My nav just went off. My navigation just went off, and I was like, "Oh, great, okay." So, and then you can't pull over on this thing because we were in a HOA. Yeah. There's not room for vehicles to get by, so I can't just pull over and stop. So we had to pull into a church parking lot and just be okay, let's
pep talk.
Try this again.
Get back on the road. Everything was fine for a little while.
Yeah.
We ended up on tiny roads. Ended up on a mountain.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to talk about the journey too much because you know what, it was a really bad experience. It was scary. It was
the brakes went out.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we lost a lot of breaks, and then and it got dark, and it was a bad jam. I don't want to talk about that. It's like we got there, and we got to the campsite thing, and I was really glad to just arrive there.
It was night though, and we couldn't find our campsite. And
what time was it by now? Like
it was
9?
about 9 o'clock, and we left at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So we actually ended up driving to the tent sites, and I didn't realize it, and we pulled into lot 6, and I was like, this seems a little small for a 36-foot camper. I don't think this is right. So we ended up having to turn around. You almost got stuck between 2 trees.
Not exaggerating, touching both mirrors as I drove through, and then so I touched both mirrors, and then the front wheel had to go over a tree stump. So I knew that I was between these trees that were inches bigger than the RV, and then the RV tilted, and I just thought, if we have to phone the guy and say, oh, we've arrived, and he's like, oh, do you want to know where your campsite is? And we're like, no, could you come and chop down some trees because we're stuck at that would just be the worst introduction.
Yeah, because I had been blowing up the camp host's phone. I called him maybe about 6 times before I could finally get in touch with him. But he's amazing, great guy. But we finally got to our campsite.
He's probably not expecting a call at 9 o'clock.
Probably not. But we finally got to our campsite. We got electric hooked up. We didn't hook up water because we couldn't see. We have never hooked up water to the RV. It's just one of those things. But we ended up hooking up to the 30 amp. Luckily, we had an adapter, and we were able to do the little conversions.
Yeah, because this was our first campsite we'd ever been to. We didn't know what the actual outlet was going to look like, and so we just kind of took a guess, and we did. And it looks like most people have the sort of 30 or 50 amp thing. That we have one of each, so hopefully we're good with that.
Yeah. And so far, the electric's been working wonderfully.
Yeah, it's all fine.
But the next day, we ended up hooking up to water for the first time ever. And the entire time while we were renovating, we never hooked up to water. It was always dry. No, the hose just never reached. So this was the first time turning on water in the RV.
We were kind of aware of it. We knew that. We knew that it was.
We've changed some faucets. We knew we had done something, but we hooked up to the water for the first time, and everything did leak. The kitchen faucet leaked because we removed the filter to put in a soap dispenser, which I still don't regret. The bathroom sink leaked as well. So we ended up having to call a guy, Jim, who's around the corner, and luckily he ended up having a sign out in front of his camper about sewage and everything of pumping. And I call him and I'm like, Jim, do you know any sort of plumbing? He's like, I know very little, but I could probably fix that. So he ended up tightening up one of the capping off the filter thing.
Yeah, so he comes out I'd already tried. What I'd tried to do was put a a cut-off valve onto the end of it, but you guys do everything differently over here. All the plumbing stuff is different here, all the electric stuff's different here. So I'm the little bit that I know isn't even relevant anymore. So I tried to put a cut-off valve, but it wasn't tight enough. It didn't seal. So it was still leaking from there, really badly, really badly.
It was pouring.
And so we called this guy, and he took, I would say, 25 seconds of work to put this little gap in and then just put a hose clamp on it and tighten it up. And that was $50. So I immediately thought, and he was like, call me if there's anything else. And I immediately mentally went, I'm not going to call you unless my RV is on fire, and then I will pay you $50. Jim's RV pumping.
Okay. So we ended up having another leak in the bathroom.
Right.
By this point. And I'm like, well, you could just call Jim. He did a great job. And he's like, I'm not going to pay him another $50.
Ain't no $50 coming out. And I'm really appreciative that you did trust me at this point, and you did say, I'm happy for you to have a go at it rather than just give the man $50.
That $50 adds up. But we ended up making new friends at the hardware store. There's a local hardware store.
Yeah.
And we drove into Hiawassee and found everything they had, anything that we could possibly need.
Considering where we are, I fully expected that place to have a hacksaw and like just
Nothing.
like such basic stuff, but it's incredible. It's like they have literally everything that we could possibly. They have every part of this RV in there broken down. It's great. Like it's really really good, and they know their surroundings. They know there's a lot of RV and boats around here, so they have like a special RV aisle where it's all everything you need, and they have a great plumbing section. So it was fantastic.
So we've been there about 20 times since.
Yeah, a lot of times.
But we got everything fixed by that point on day 2. Like everything was great. The campsite was quiet.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. There was nobody around. There were campers everywhere, but no people anywhere.
Like pretty much every lot has either a trailer or an RV in it, but there are no people anywhere. Like,
no, it was so quiet.
Do you remember when we did see one person just wandering out in the middle of nowhere? It's like some sort of zombie movie. It was so weird.
Yeah.
Because when we arrived at night, we just thought everybody was sleeping. So we were in the RV and we were whispering. Do you remember that first night? We were whispering at each other.
Yeah, we could have been yelling and nobody would have cared because there's nobody here.
There's nobody for 5 miles.
But by the next day, by day 3, we were fully hooked up with water yet again after all the leaks. But then we found another leak. And that was the hot water side of the kitchen faucet. So, yet another trip to the hardware store.
Yeah, we love that place. Like,
It's
it's
great.
nice to see our friends.
Yeah.
And but armed with what I learned from Jim's RV pumping and plumbing services, I then used a hose clamp and I went double down on it, and we not only replaced the washers in there, but we also put a hose clamp on it as well, and it is solid.
Yeah.
I reckon that's the most solid thing in this RV right now. So I was very happy with that, and like I say, I'm glad that you trusted me to have a go and didn't just force me to phone Jim and you backed me, and even after all the previous plumbing issues.
No.
It was then sorted, and it is great now for sure.
Yeah. But we were finally able to get the hot water hooked up.
What day was this? Wednesday.
Day 4. It was Thursday.
Oh, jeez.
We didn't have a shower. We didn't have a hot shower.
I think it was Wednesday we had showers.
I don't know. All the days run together.
Yeah.
But we finally got hot water hooked up, and we were able to take a shower.
And it was the first time showering in this.
Yeah.
First time even standing in the shower cubicle, right? It was like, to actually properly be in it.
I took the first shower, and I stepped out and was like, this is the most amazing thing in the world. By far, the shower is, like, we don't have to touch any of it. The shower hose looks awful. Do
you remember as well when you turn it on, the water just dribbled out of it?
It just dripped out, and I had no idea that you turn it and then it comes on.
Because, obviously the taps and everything that, are on the bottom, and then the hose goes, but there's a little switch on the back of the shower.
I had no idea.
Which...
I didn't know RVs did this.
I don't know why it has...
Again, first time both of us have ever stayed in an RV. But conserving water makes sense. But we were both able to finally take a hot shower and relax and got back to somewhat normal living.
Oh, no, that was like some sort of rebirthing ceremony.
It was ridiculous. It was... life-changing.
Yeah. I mean, because some of the, concerns I had about RV living was, one, that, the bed is going to be uncomfortable and short and whatever.
Thank you,
two,
Amazon.
And 2, that the shower was going to be, standing under, a lukewarm dribble of water.
Yeah.
And, both of those things were entirely wrong. Completely the opposite.
I
don't know if it's just because it was the first shower in a few days, but it was, I thought it was great. And the water was perfect temperature, and it was just,
yeah.
It was such a nice experience.
We finally got back to somewhat normal daily living activities. You got to work a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
I got to do some research for our next campsite because we have to go down for a wedding to Beaufort.
And planning ahead is a challenge. We always have to be 10 steps ahead.
And we were also looking at brake repair places. Dead ends on most of it, but we'll get there. But then day 5, we went back to town.
Day 5? Of course we did. We're always in town.
Yeah.
What was day 5?
Groceries, probably, in Hiawassee Hardware.
Of course, obviously.
But I bought a fishing pole. We went to the pawn shop.
Oh, yeah.
We went to the pawn shop and I got a fishing pole. That fishing pole ended up not working, so we went back to Hiawassee
But
Harbor.
can I just say, this was our... Oh, yeah.
And they sell fishing poles.
No, but the success of this day was the day that we went to the pawn shop that was our first time going into town where we didn't have to go into town.
Yeah.
We chose to go into town. Of course, later we then had to go into town.
And go back.
Yeah.
For another fishing pole.
But the first time, that was our first, recreational town trip where we didn't actually have to run in and
It was great.
Yeah.
But I got to go fishing later that night. Like, you and Izzy got to hang out by the lake.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty great.
Yeah.
It was first time of just being able to relax, like just kind of say, yeah, this is our life now, and
Yeah, just sink into it a little bit. And I think
really enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I'd enjoyed things
great.
before that. Like it's like I know this sounds really negative because it's like we've had a lot of tests over the last few days, but it's like all of it like felt. I mean, like I said, I don't want to talk about the driving because obviously it was hard. But or apart from that, everything has been like fun challenges. It's not been like stressful. It's we knew we were going to get. Nothing was really unexpected. Nothing has been like catastrophic. It's like when we've had the leaks, it's like you can always see it and it's right in front of you. And so that's what I want. I don't want like the leak to be underneath somewhere where it's like, oh geez, now we have to like rip up something to get to it. So
until Saturday, because Saturday we had the AC leak.
Well, yeah. I mean that's not AC. So it's like from. We have two ACs on the roof, and the back one, just the water it takes out of the air just goes everywhere on those things. And depending like how level we are, it could run off any side.
We're not level at all.
Like we're never going to be level. Your life is wonky now, and it was running off somewhere down the back, and it was kind of and it's leaking a little. Like basically, it's just like really pooling underneath. We have a lot of solar panels on the roof, and there are two of them which. It was just kind of pooling underneath the solar panels. So I had to take those panels up and then kind of reseal the roof under there. It was kind of sealed, but I just don't want the water to pool, so I want to try and make a water channel so it kind of goes out nicely and runs out.
But that fix was today, as well as we had the toilet back up, and then the bathroom sink leaked again.
From a different place.
From a different place.
Like, I wasn't happy with that fix. Like, I'm happy with the kitchen fix. Like, until I say I'm happy with a fix... just expect it not to actually be a fix.
But luckily, we got the toilet fixed. I took a stick, jammed it in there a little bit, pushed some things down, and we poured some of the, what's it called? TSP?
Yeah,
TSP
we have a thing
down
that's
it.
Gonna, they're like friendly biotics, like you'd find in a yogurt, is how it describes it on the
But
packaging.
you know what? It's all getting pumped tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fine.
Jim's RV pumping.
It's going to be fine. Considering this is only like the fourth day of us even being able to use the bathroom in the RV. All in all, it's been a pretty successful time. We have an amazing view. We're right on a lake. I can look out the front door and see the lake. The dog's amazing. She's the best RV dog. She's a pretty large breed.
Yeah. She's definitely like upper middle size.
She's like 60 pounds, but she makes herself so small and she's so quiet. And I take her on walks and she just gets tired out and goes to sleep and then we never see her. And the cats just kind of hang out wherever they want. There's a cat loft up here and then there's one that just stays in the front all day long.
I think for them as well, because they're indoor cats, they are, used to seeing the same view. It's like when we moved house, it'd be like them getting used to new windows. But like now, it's like, it's always going to be a change. And they see a lot, because, we lived pretty in quite a quiet area, whereas now, there's a lot of action going on, like as people arrive.
The cats are doing amazing.
I just think it's more interesting for them.
There's been no hassle trying to get them situated.
No.
I actually put a harness on Oliver and take him outside, and he gets to sit with the dog, and he's good. Like, he sat with me in the hammock today. It was pretty nice.
Yeah.
But aside from like a small butter fire on the fire pit,
Mm-hmm.
which happened today when we were making breakfast. There's been no real, like, massive issues.
No, like I know it sounds kind of negative, but like, you know, we're missing out all the positive things of, like, you know, it was really enjoyable that first day that I love arriving somewhere in the dark and then, you know,
We had no
waiting
idea.
next- yeah.
Everything was pitch black.
We didn't know how close to the lake we
It
were going to
was
be.
completely dark out there. And the next morning I look out the bedroom window and I can see the sunrise over the lake, and it was
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I immediately hooked Izzy up to the leash, took her for a walk, and it was incredible. It was breathtaking. And the temperature has been wonderful. It hasn't been too hot. Of course, we are in the beginning of October now, and it's starting to cool off, but it's been great.
Yeah, it's like we knew everything would be worth it. You know, when it's like when you're working on things, it's really difficult, and everybody always says it'll be worth it in the end. You kind of know it, but it absolutely is. It's like it was immediately as soon as we, you know, got here and everything, and like the troubles did not bring us down. You know, it's like they were little things, but it's like
we knew things were going to break. Like, we went into this eyes wide open, saying things are going to break on the RV. It's 25 years old. It's bound to happen, and we're living in a motorized house now.
I mean, it's 25 years old, and we gutted it. It's as well. I mean, we really like ripped a lot of things out, so there were always going to be issues. But we just you know, went at it with the right attitude, I think, and just didn't. You just can't get stressed if it's like you can't have a shower like immediately as soon as you get there. It's like you can't be stressed about that. You just have to. You just need to roll with it. Otherwise,
relax
something's
and
gonna
wear a hat.
Yeah, but like absolutely was worth it, and it's like I, you know, did some work sitting on a hammock outside using, you know, working on my laptop. I love my work area. Like there was, you know, I was really concerned it wasn't going to be big enough or whatever. It's great. Like we have like decent enough internet connection. We can still stream TV and watch that if we want to. Like, yeah, it's been great. Like so, like. I don't want it to feel like a negative video. So we talk about some things that happened because I think they were funny and we kind of got over it. But like,
we're over it now.
Overwhelmingly, like everything was worth it.
Yeah, everything is extremely worth it. And what we're going to be doing in the future is we'll have a video of the renovation process as well, and there'll be little sub videos of everything that we've done to the place, and also all of our adventures. And we have no idea where we're going next, so it'll be just as much of a surprise for us as it is for you.
Yeah. Yeah, at the moment we don't have our next place booked. We know we need to be a certain place for a wedding at a certain time, but other than that, we have literally zero plans for where we're going to go. So, so who knows? But yeah, I think it'll be good.
How we're going to live life now.
Yeah, I think it's good.
No
like, I'm
plans.
not regretting it so far. I think like like we've been really lucky. I think our purchase is great. It's the right thing for us.
Yeah.
The animals are happy. Like it's working out. So yeah, I think it's going to be good.
Until next time.
Are we nearly there yet?